Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull introduced his government's bill to send every Australian to the polls to decide whether the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex citizens of Australia can be legally married in our own country. How has it come to this? What sort of country have we become where our elected representatives are willing to force a minority to fight in a public campaign to be treated equally before the law? And even after going through this absurd, cruel and ridiculous process, this highly discriminated against group in our community is not guaranteed a change in the law. What sort of country have we become when the Conservative members of the dominant party throw their own beliefs about the Westminster system of representative government out the window to advance a Conservative social agenda, and then dress it up as some sort of best practice approach to democracy? What sort of country have we become where our Parliament is considering a publicly funded debate that will suggest that the relationships and families of a group of our citizens are less worthy, deficient and morally wrong? And this is trumpeted as the fastest way to eliminate the current discrimination. There have been so many words written about this issue, so much airtime given to this issue. Maybe it is time to just stop and listen. Listen to Matthew Robinson. Dear decision makers of the country I love, in a dream last night, I stood before my high school principal and a group of teachers that had been assembled to decide whether same-sex marriage would be legalised in Australia. I told them I was already married in New Zealand in May of this year. I showed them the wedding photographs and pleaded that they acknowledge the marriage was legitimate. Then I wept openly in front of them. I grew up watching the bowling ball advertisements that warned, or more accurately terrified, the viewer about the AIDS epidemic. By the time I was 12, I had come to believe that if two men kissed, they died instantly. I believed that what I would eventually come to know as love would kill me. I need the Australian Parliament to do its job, which is to look after those who are the most marginalised amongst us, no matter who they are. When I walk down the street holding my husband's hand, every time we pass someone, every time we come out all over again. What will they think? Worse, what will they say? Worse still, what might they do? To know by its idling and by its reticence that my government is complicit in that fear makes me weep for the child who watched those bowling ball ads and for the children now watching the ever so vaguely dehumanising discussions surrounding the LGBTIQ community. Listen to my friend Aaron. I'm 33. I'm a pretty resilient human being. I survived being queer in a conservative family, being excommunicated from the religion and community of my childhood, being cut off by my family. I've been profiled in the media and had public commentators share their opinions on my identity and fought in court to have my identity recognised. I've engaged in national and international advocacy. I've worked in mental health and other health and social services. And yet this morning I feel under attack and it feels crap. The world doesn't feel very nice and I don't feel particularly good in it. To those elected to office, I exhort you, do your job, protect and uphold human rights, govern for all Australians, and stop using real-life humans as tools for political point scoring. We should listen to the kids in LGBTI families. Jessie said this week. It's going to be damaging for young people who have gay and lesbian parents. It is going to be damaging to people who think they are going to be gay or lesbian. They are going to be thinking, is something wrong with me? Is something wrong with my family? And they don't deserve this. We should listen to the LGBTI parents who are frustrated, angry and fearful of the impact on their children as a result of the public debate already happening now. Every LGBTI parent is concerned about how they can protect and shield their children from this divisive debate if faced with pamphlets at train stations, giant billboards and a public discussion where everyone is forced to pass judgment on their family and the people they love. We should make space to reflect on those who cannot speak out. For those for whom being LGBTI is not something they admit to their families, their friends, their workmates, their schoolmates, their teammates, their church, or even themselves. Being gay or lesbian or bisexual or transgender or intersex or indeed queer is a human trait that you don't often share with your family, your schoolmates, your church or your neighbourhood. And it is not always accepted, and it can be dangerous to tell people about it. How will we come to the point where our own democracy and some of our own elected representatives think that asking the majority of Australians to stand in judgment of the relationships, lives and families of LGBTI people in this country is a reasonable idea? It is not. The plebiscite must be blocked.